Life can change in a single moment. The person you trust, the person you love, the person you share your bed with could be the same person planning your downfall. Tonight, I want to tell you a true emotional story of love, betrayal, pain, and survival. A story that reminds us that wealth does not guarantee happiness, and a beautiful marriage does not guarantee a faithful heart. This is the journey of Adaora, a billionaire's wife who disappeared without warning. What she discovered in her silence will shock the world. Sit back, relax, and open your heart, because this story will shake your soul. Welcome to African Folktales by Timo. Adaora Okafor lived in a world most people could only imagine. Her home stood on a hill overlooking the Atlantic Ocean, a mansion with glass walls shining like diamonds in the sun. Every morning she woke to the sound of waves washing against the rocks below, and gentle music drifting from the speakers built into every room. From the outside, she had a perfect life: a billionaire husband, a dream home, luxury, security, adoration. But perfection has cracks, and Adaora felt them long before she understood them. Her husband, Richard Obasi, was a business genius. Sharp suit, sharp mind, sharp smile. People worshipped him. Newspapers called him Africa's golden son. TV stations fought for interviews. His presence alone made companies rise or fall. Adaora loved him, truly loved him, and she believed he loved her too. But as the years passed, Richard changed. He became colder, busier, emotionally unreachable. He stopped holding her hand, stopped looking into her eyes, stopped calling her my sunshine. He slept in his study more often than in their bedroom, and Adaora, desperate to keep her marriage alive, blamed herself. Maybe she wasn't good enough. Maybe she wasn't exciting enough. Maybe she wasn't the woman he once wanted. But nothing prepared her for the day her world ended. It was a Saturday, calm, warm, and silent. Adaora finished a charity event earlier than planned. She wanted to surprise Richard, maybe share breakfast, maybe laugh the way they once did. Her heart fluttered with hope as she walked into the house and headed toward his office. Richard never allowed her into that room, never. But today, the door was slightly open. She stepped closer, smiling, and froze. Richard stood with another woman, a young lady, maybe in her mid-20s, stunning, glowing, pregnant. Their fingers intertwined, their faces close, their voices soft. Richard kissed the woman's forehead. The woman pressed his hand against her stomach. Adaora felt her heart tear open. She tried to speak, but her throat refused. Richard's eyes snapped up, shock, then panic, before something darker swept over his face. Adaora finally whispered, "Richard, why?" He stared at her, cold, expressionless. Then he said words she would never forget. "Adaora, you were never meant to be my wife. You were just useful." The other woman tightened her grip on his hand. Richard didn't stop her. Adaora's legs weakened. The world blurred. Nothing felt real. She ran out of the room, tears crashing down her face, collapsing on the marble floor where she once danced with him on their wedding anniversary. That night, Adaora locked herself in the bedroom. She cried until her pillow soaked, until her voice cracked, until her soul felt empty. Every memory stabbed her. Their wedding vows, their honeymoon, the nights they stayed awake talking about the future. She didn't sleep, just stared at the ceiling, wide-eyed, shaking, numb. When dawn came, she dragged herself to the kitchen for water. 2 housemaids stood whispering near the counter. "Madame is finished. Olga wants her gone. When she disappears, everything becomes his." Disappear. Disappear, disappear. The word echoed through Adaora's bones. She realized something terrifying. The affair wasn't the true betrayal. Richard wanted more than freedom. He wanted everything. Adaora owned half his empire, half his companies, half his estates, half his wealth. If Adaora disappeared, Richard became one of the richest men in the world. The betrayal wasn't emotional. It was financial, strategic, deadly. Something inside Adaora snapped. She refused to die quietly. She secretly hired a private investigator, a calm, quiet man named Detective Cola James. Cola worked in silence, gathering pieces of Richard's life Adaora never saw, and the truth was horrifying. Richard had opened hidden accounts, stolen company money, filed documents to transfer Adaora's ownership, signed insurance policies worth billions, and worst of all, planned a travel accident for her. The date was already scheduled, 2 weeks away. Adaora stared at the papers in Cola's hands trembling, stomach twisting, breath fading. She wasn't just betrayed, she was targeted. "Madame," Cola said quietly, "you must leave. If you stay, you will not survive." And that night, Adaora disappeared. The media exploded. Headlines screamed her name. "Billionaire's wife missing. Search underway." Richard Obasi cries for justice. Richard played the grieving husband. He went on TV, crying, begging, acting. People felt sorry for him. Millions prayed for him. He became a global hero overnight. Adaora watched it all on a small TV inside the safe house. She did not cry this time. Her tears were finished. For 3 months, she hunted truth. Emails, voice recordings, phone calls, transfer papers, illegal deals, pregnancy documents, forgery signatures, crime records. The more she discovered, the more her heart hardened. She found evidence connecting Richard to fraud, bribery, tax evasion, blackmail, corporate sabotage, and even planning her murder. Every secret hid another secret, and behind all of it, a cold smile. One morning, Adaora walked into the courtroom, wearing a simple dress, hair tied back, eyes steady. The crowd gasped. Reporters screamed. Cameras flashed. Richard turned pale, as if he had seen a ghost. Adaora stepped forward and said quietly, "My name is Adaora Okafor. I was never missing. I was hiding from the man who wanted me dead." She placed the documents on the judge's desk. The courtroom erupted. Lawyers argued. Reporters shouted questions. Richard collapsed into a chair, sweating, shaking. He whispered through clenched teeth, "Adaora, please." But Adaora didn't look at him. She looked at the judge and spoke the truth. Everything. Every betrayal, every plan, every secret. When she finished, the room was silent. The judge ordered security to arrest Richard. For the first time in years, Adaora breathed. After the case, Adaora sold her share of the empire and used the money to build something meaningful, a foundation for women escaping emotional and financial abuse. Her story spread across the world. Women wrote letters, thanking her for saving their lives. Adaora became a symbol of courage, a reminder that strength is not loud. Sometimes strength hides, sometimes strength waits, and sometimes strength walks away. The billionaire wife disappeared, and what she discovered was not her husband's betrayal, but her own power. The world had abandoned her. Her husband had deceived her. Her heart had shattered. But she rose, not to destroy him, but to rebuild herself. That is the shock. That is the victory. That is the ending and the beginning. Life is not always what it looks like from the outside. Adaora had money, luxury, and fame, yet she suffered more pain than anyone could imagine. but she rose again, not because she was lucky, but because she refused to remain broken. This story reminds us that strength is not loud. Sometimes strength hides, sometimes strength waits, and sometimes strength walks away. If this story touched your heart, if it opened your eyes, if you felt a single moment of pain or hope, please leave a comment below. Let's talk. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and come back for more powerful stories like this. Thank you for watching.